Welcome back to Maison Maitland Kitchens. We're going to use this beautiful blanched asparagus that you saw before, and we're going to mix it with some other greens, including the chives we picked from the garden. I have some beautiful spinach from a local farmer and some wild leeks. If you haven't seen these before, sometimes you purchase them without the bottom to keep it sustainable with the bulb. A lot of farmers will just pick the top so that they'll come back every year. So it gives a nice oniony flavor, similar to a chive, but just a little bit stronger. So we're gonna do a layering a little bit like you would do a lasagna. This strata is great for brunch or a light dinner, but it's got all this great freshness all packed into it. How we start, we're gonna do a basic custard. So we have some farm fresh eggs, some Dijon mustard, a little salt and pepper. So we're going to just whisk that first together. Then I've got about 1.5 cups of whole milk. Again, this is great whole milk. You have to actually shake it because the cream's on top. From Upper Canada Creamery, just down the road. It's organic and it's the freshest milk you'll ever get. And then we've got about 1/2 cup of all those beautiful chives. That's going to give the real oniony flavor. Now we're ready to build this. I'm going to demo on a small individual one. You could make these for brunches. It's kind of nice. I like individual vessels to place in front of everybody. But for family style, this is a 3-quart typical baking dish. So this is the recipe that you see below, fits one of these large vessels. We've got some beautiful sourdough bread here made by a local baker. And I would cut that up and take the crusts off though, so it'd look pretty just like this one. So I'm just gonna start layering to show you and demo on a mini size of what you would do in the large one. So you cut the bread to fit the pan. So for the larger one, you would probably have about 6 slices or 8 slices, depending on the size of the bread. So this one obviously just takes 2, so there we go with that. And now I'm going to use some of these beautiful spinach leaves. They're very large, but that's what happens in the springtime. You can get some beautiful spinach from the greenhouses. I've got some of the wild leeks. Let's put a few in that. So you can mix and match. You could put some basil, whatever you like. It's just nice to have a few different layers. Then we're going to take some asparagus. That looks pretty good. Maybe one more. See how pretty that looks. Okay, now I usually use Gruyère, so I've got a little bit of Gouda in here as well. So, in it goes. I want to press that down. Again, I'm giving you the mini version. And you do want, that's why I like using sourdough bread, because you want something dense. If you were just doing regular store-bought grocery bread, it's just not dense enough and it would soak the egg up too much. So you really want to press this down. And then what you want to do is pour the mixture on top. And so you would pour the whole thing obviously on the large one, and I put a plate on top as well because you want to be able to really have that bread soak in all of that goodness. And then you would top it off again with, of course, more cheese. And you need to let that sit for a bit because you want that to really soak in. Ideally, I love making this the night before. So I would make the pan, cover it in saran, put it in the fridge, and then it's ready to go the next morning to place in your oven. We call this a strata, so I don't know. It's not just an asparagus strata today. It's spinach, it's leek, it's chives, and it's all goodness of spring. So enjoy this recipe, and thanks again for joining me again at Maison Maitland Kitchens.